here in Washington, wherever you are watching from around the world. Thanks very much for joining us. A new tactic in the nuclear standoff with North Korea. President Trump designating the rogue nation as a state sponsor of terror as the world now waits to see how Kim Jong-un reacts. Plus, a stunning remark from a U.S. president saying that he should have left 3 American citizens inside a Chinese jail after feeling insulted by one of their fathers. And the pressure builds on senators still undecided in the GOP tax bill. President Trump decides to attack one of them, calling his career toast. We start, though, with President Donald Trump making a major announcement on North Korea less than a week after returning from his long Asia trip. The president made the comment a short time ago during a cabinet meeting at the White House.
We will be instituting a very critical step, and that'll start right now. Today, the United States is designating North Korea as a state sponsor of terrorism. Should have happened a long time ago, should have happened years ago. In addition to threatening the world by nuclear devastation, North Korea has repeatedly supported acts of international terrorism, including assassinations on foreign soil.
Let me bring in Bruce Klingner. He's from the Heritage Foundation. He's a former chief of the CIA's Korea branch. So Bruce, North Korea already one of the most sanctioned countries in the world. The U.S. doesn't do a lot of trade. It doesn't do really any trade with North Korea. What difference does this designation make?
Well, it actually has several important factors. First of all, North Korea is not the most heavily sanctioned country, as President Obama said. For the U.S., sanctions 3 other countries more heavily than North Korea. And the UN, the U.S., and the EU did things far stronger in sanctions to Iran, which is what brought them back to the table. But we should not hesitate to enforce our laws. The redesignation is consistent with U.S. laws, including 18 U.S. Code, Section 2331, which indicates that any hostile act intended to intimidate, coerce, or influence a government or its population qualifies as international terrorism. So it will have an impact on further weaning away North Korean business partners away from engaging with the regime.
So that's the key there, right, in that this designation is almost less about North Korea than about punishing to some degree, or as you say, weaning away, maybe even scaring North Korea's trading partners away from trading with North Korea.
Right. Well, if there are 3 lanes in the road in increasing pressure on North Korea, one is more fully enforcing required UN sanctions under the resolutions. The second is more fully enforcing U.S. laws. And we're still pulling our punches, especially against secondary sanctions against Chinese violators of U.S. law. And then the third is influencing even legitimate business partners by pointing out North Korea is a state sponsor of terrorism. It's committing crimes against humanity, and it's repeatedly violating not only UN resolutions but international law. And really, in the last 2 years, we've seen a growing list of countries and banks and businesses which no longer want to have their reputations linked to the regime.
Bruce Klingner, of course, China, a chief trading partner, have to see this as a message to them as well. Thanks very